Send them forth to preach, and to have power to heal sicknesses and to cast out devils. And Simon he surnamed Peter. And James the son of Zebedee, and John the brother of James, and he surnamed them Boanerges, which is the sons of thunder.
Welcome to Bible Minute. I'm Mark. Like the video says, birth of the Antichrist. The Antichrist. I don't want this to sound like a little baby being born. I'm talking about the Antichrist birthed onto the scene kind of thing. And let me explain the signs that I've come up with and where it's at and stuff like that. It's in Matthew 24, verse 37 and 38. And it's in Luke 17, 26 and 27. And it basically, both of them are pretty much the same. As it was in the days of Noah, so shall be also in the days of the Son of Man. They did eat, they drank, they married, they had wives. They were given in marriage until that day. Noah entered in the ark, and the flood came and destroyed them all. So I was like, wow, okay, yeah, okay. As it was in the days of Noah. But what threw me for a loop, and I've been studying this for a while, was when I was in Thessalonians chapter 5, and I read verse 3, for when they shall say peace and safety, sudden destruction come upon them as travail upon a woman with child, and they shall not escape. So I was saying to myself, how's a pregnant woman the same as the floods of Noah? I'm like, I can't put this together. And it just didn't dawn upon me. So I was talking with my wife and everything, and she said, oh, silly. She says, you know, when a woman's pregnant, before she goes into labor and has those pains, she says her water breaks. And she says it usually doesn't hurt. It's just before, that's where what happens. And I was like, oh, you're kidding me. How did I forget that? She's like, it's okay. It's not, So we were talking about that. And she's like, yeah. So I got to thinking about it. And I said, as it was in the days of Noah. Well, Noah had a worldwide flood. Okay. So that would have to be floods in the world and everything. So I was like, okay, let's prove this. Let's prove this. So as I go back and look at the past year, 2023, there were floods, and I'm going to cover cities all over the world because I have a big list real quick. There were floods in Morocco. There were floods in Mecca, Saudi Arabia, a city called Jeddah. In July, there was a big tornado with torrential rains, and they had ice storm and flooding in the streets. Russia, there's two cities that I'm going to have trouble pronouncing. I'll do my best. Saki and Krasnodar. Okay, like I said, I don't have. But anyway, in July, both of those flooded real bad. In September, there was flooding in Pakistan, Bangladesh, Mozambique, in Madagascar, the Congo, Zimbabwe, Botswana, Angola, Kenya, Ethiopia, and then those are the ones I had to look up to make sure that there was, decent amount of flooding and people got hurt or whatever. But the ones that were really famous on the news, Beijing, China, when they had all the floods in their like little subway and stuff like that. There was also massive flooding the same time in Japan. They had like 3 feet of water in their subway system, if you remember, because it rained. And so that covers that part of the world. So let's go to the United States. California has been flooded twice because they received torrential rains. If you remember, not too long ago, New York City was flooded bad. And they had problems with water running into the subways also. South Carolina had some floods. Atlanta, Georgia. That was real big here in the States. There was news everywhere about that. That was just crazy. They showed the water. It was cars stalling out and everything. There was flooding in 2 separate cities in Tennessee. There was massive flooding in Florida just recently. Um, there was flooding in Turkey, Libya, and then just recently there was also flooding. I'm talking February 2nd of 2024. There was flooding in the Philippines, so it's still continuing to happen. And then this kind of sealed it up, but the icing on the cake. There was a bunch of dams that broke. Libya, that's the one where the 4,000, there were two dams. The 4,000 people are dead and 8,000 are still missing today. I rechecked and that number is still pretty good. There were dams that broke in Norway in a couple places. There was two dams that broke in Ukraine. Now, one of them was because of the weather and the rain and the snow and stuff. And the other one, I think, was hit with a missile. So I don't know. I don't want to count that, but it's still a dam breaking. And then there's a Three Georges dam that was in China, I believe. They had to open up the floodgates because the flooding, the dam from the rain had rose so high and the dam was going to burst. So they had to literally blow the sirens and open the floodgates and flood some cities. Even though it was man-made, they had to. So that was pretty bad. And then there was a couple spillways that in the United States that they aren't dams that broke, but I mean the spillways were just one broke, one locked up, just one overfilled on the side. It's just crazy. So you're saying, okay, where does all this come in again? Well, all that is proof of the water breaking as it was in the days of Noah, water, and as the woman in travail. So a sign that the Antichrist is soon to be burst onto the scene, to arrive. Okay? So that should help you with where we're at now. It's scary when you look at all this, because at first I thought I was crazy, writing all this down and doing it back in September when I started doing this and looking into this, and then it just more floods and more stuff. It's just crazy how it keeps going on and on and on. The torrential rains are happening everywhere, and the flooding is wow. But anyway, it seems funny that it's worldwide. So that's my qualification for that to count to be biblical, is worldwide. For that. Plus, like I said, as it was in the days of Noah and the woman in travail. So you have your pregnant woman, her water breaking. Then she goes into the actual travail part, which is the labor pains. And then that's when she will deliver. It's when you put it all together, you're like, whoa. Sometimes it helps if you stand back. Instead of looking at the trees, you look at the forest and you see, wow, okay, yeah. So this is the Bible Minute, and I'm Mark, and I hope this helps. I hope this enlightens you. I have a few ideas who the Antichrist might be, and you pretty much should know where I stand on that. I'm just going to come out and say it. I believe it's Trump. I could be wrong. I'm not a prophet. I don't believe I am, but he's the only one that has done the Abrahamic peace accords and stuff like that. So he moved the capital to Jerusalem. There's too many things that stack it up. So either he's going to be placed in office before the election, or he's going to be voted in. And then I'd be on high alert if he ever goes over to Jerusalem, because we don't want him to get killed and come back to life. That would not be good. Or it could be somebody else. It could be somebody else. I don't know. Somebody gets put in office and they further the peace accord or they confirm it, however you want to look at it. I mean, there's different ways, and people go, well, he has to do this, do that, and this. But from what I see, it's just basically that whoever is a big leader, I do believe that the person has to come from Babylon, and I believe America is Babylon. So, but anyway, I've rambled long enough on this. Just go back and watch some of my older videos. It explains a lot. I've got a lot of stuff on that in my past videos. But anyway, even if you don't believe that part, what I'm trying to show you here is generically, these are signs that he will be coming on the scene very soon. He's about to be delivered. Anyway, like I said, this is the Bible Minute. I've rambled long enough. I'm Mark. Till we meet again.